Hello friends, this is Jennifer from the Jennifer Maker DIY and Craft blog. This week I'm going to show you how to make this really cute birdcage card. You can use it as a pop-up card or just as a standalone whatever sort of thing, or it can be a luminary or lantern if you put an LED light in it, and it makes a beautiful pattern on the walls. So let me show you how to make this. First, you're going to need the files so you can cut everything out, and you'll find everything over on my blog at jennifermaker.com. The link to this specific tutorial is in the description for this YouTube video. It's actually not difficult to make at all. Most of the work is done by your Cricut or other cutting machine. So this is what you're going to need. The pieces that get cut out are the main cage, the roost for the birds, some flowers, some vines, and some birds. So we're going to set these aside to start with, and we're going to glue the birds onto the roost. I've already put the eyes and the wings on, just so that this video doesn't take too long and you don't watch me do every single little thing. And I'm actually going to use a paintbrush to put the glue on so that it goes exactly where I want it to and nowhere else. This has a lot of little fine bits, and we don't need extra glue hanging about and making things messed up. But in this case, we don't want to use spray adhesive because we don't want it sticking to the birdcage itself when it gets folded. So we want to use good strong glue. I like tacky glue. So here are little birds. And then we're going to fold the birdcage. This is probably the toughest part of the whole project because this is very delicate and it makes it a little harder to fold. But my files do have score lines, which I've actually reinforced so that they're nice, good score lines. And I recommend that you cut it on intricate cuts if you're using Cricut Design Space, and then gently fold it on the score lines. You'll have best results if you fold it with the score lines on top. So you're looking at it and you fold in. It's more likely to fold that way, so that as the inside of the fold is actually where the score line is. And also one thing that you'll note that's different about the files versus this video, I originally had put in 2 doors, which you can see here, but I changed it later to be just 1 door because I felt that that really looked best aesthetically. So don't be surprised if you see 2 doors here, but there's actually only 1 door. So you put the most time and attention into scoring carefully, so as not to accidentally rip or put weird marks and flakes, and make sure that you fold everywhere you see a score line. So there's ones at the tabs at the base. The roof parts have a score in between the top and the bottom, so between the roof and the sides, and then each side section has a score line, and as does each roof section. So there's really quite a few. You'll see them all in the files. They're marked with dashed lines. So there we have it. We have folded everything. And so now before we glue it, we want to put any decorations that we want onto the front. And in your files, you'll see that I have some vines and some morning glory blossoms and morning glory leaves, which are actually heart-shaped. And you can put these on if you want. I thought they'd look pretty. Put them on any way you want. The only thing that you want to pay attention to is not to put things over the fold lines. If it's, in some cases it might cause an issue when you fold it. So you'll just have to, pay attention to which ones you're doing and experiment, maybe move things around if necessary. In my case, I'm trying to just avoid the fold lines altogether, and it seems to work pretty well that way. So one thing I'll note is that these are very small pieces. So, and I use spray adhesive for the backs of these, and I put them all onto this yellow polka dotted paper, and then I set it into my spraying box. That way it was much easier to set down into the box, spray, and then just pick the whole sheet up and then take the pieces off. Otherwise you're just going to go crazy trying to put each individual piece down to spray it. So just go through and decorate the front of your cage any way that you want to. You can print out extra. You could have flowers everywhere. You can, if you decide to make this a pop-up card, you could put flowers on the base as well. I think that would look really pretty. Whatever works best for you. There we go. So we have some pretty flowers on the front of our bird cage. So press it down from the back, make sure everything is in place. And now let's put the roost on. I'm using the paintbrush again, and I'm just gluing the top inside right under the ring, and that's where the roost goes. And you want to make sure you give that some time to dry. And you fold it, you can crease it just a little bit there, just it'll help it hang straight later on. Okay, so this is the easiest way to attach this. I initially tried some other ways, and because it's such a delicate piece, it didn't tear, but it was hard to get it in the right spot. So lay it down flat, put the glue, and we're going to do the roof first, and just press it down just like this. So there's tabs on each half of the roof, and it just connects to the other side with glue. Make sure you give it some time to dry before you start playing with it anymore. While we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and fold my base in half. It has a score line and then two little lines, and I have some extra flowers, so I'm just going to put them on the base like this. But I'm just going to make sure everything is nice and dry and snug there. And now we're going to glue the sides of the birdcage closed. So just like before, we put glue right on the tab, the folded tab, and then match up the two sides, press down, and wait for the glue to set. I don't recommend, you really don't want to use spray adhesive because it'll get in too many places. It'll make a mess, and because this is a pop-up, you don't want parts of it sticking in places that you didn't intend. And once your card is dry, you can go ahead and put it up the way that it is supposed to be. And if you're going to do it as a card, you can just put the tabs right into the bottom. You just tape it on the other side. You can glue it too if you prefer. Just pull them through all the way, and voila, you have a pop-up birdcage, which I think is really cool and really cute. I didn't make a folder to go around the base. It's just whatever size you'd like to use. I think that later on when I made one, it turned out to be just about 7 by 7 or 8 by 8, I think, and but it pops right up just like this and folds again. And if you don't want to use it as a pop-up card, it can just be a standalone, not dissimilar from the fairy house card, and you can just send that. You just pop that into an envelope and send it to somebody, or just, you know, put it by your desk and you can look at it every day. I think it's very cheerful. If you want to be a standalone, you can just cut off the tabs. You don't need to have those, they're just for the pop-up. Now, I did make an extra special version because as I was designing this, I realized how romantic a birdcage could be with the two little birds. So I made a lovebirds version, and this one is a thank you gift for my Patreon supporters, because I continue to be overwhelmed by your generosity and support. And I want to thank specifically Robin Kreider, Tammy Gilbert, April Drayton-Hymans, Michelle Bachmeyer, Karen Roberts, DeJaris Harris, Bridget Oglesby, Karen Tritton, Heather Mueller, Laura Robeson, and Deb Goff for your support. And thank you to all of my Patreons. If you would like to get this file, it is available in the Jennifer Maker Collection Library, which is one of your special perks for being a Patreon supporter. And the password for that is available in my Patreon, on my Patreon page, and in the email I sent you. Thank you again for your support. I really appreciate it. And one of the things I really like about this design is that it makes a beautiful luminary. I put an LED candle in here, and it's difficult to see in the picture, but it makes a really pretty pattern on the surface near it with the bars from the cage. And I think that this would look lovely as a centerpiece perhaps. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. You can find all of the files for this project on my blog at jennifermaker.com. The link to the tutorial is in the description for this YouTube video. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make next. Someone has suggested some slider cards. I might make some of those. They sound like fun. So we'll see. I'm always open to suggestions, so definitely let me know what you're interested in. Please subscribe to my channel so that you're notified of new videos, and definitely let me know what you think. Like this video, leave me a comment, leave me a question. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Talk to you next time.